Content disclaimer. The views, comments, and opinions expressed by guest speakers or authors on this YouTube channel do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel's broadcasters and its sponsors. Parental guidance is advised. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teachers, scholarship, education, and research. For fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringed.
Did you ever wonder if your birth date holds information about your destiny? Why you keep seeing the same number or several numbers? Welcome to Numbers Are Simple, People Are Complicated. I am your host, King Simon. Numbers are not here to control you, they're here to give you guidance. It's time for you to be able to read the numbers. It's the numerational session with King Simon. Text your full name and date of birth to 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022. And get my books on Amazon now. This is King Simon. Remember, make sure you go to my website, kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com. That's kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com or Linktree at King Simon the Numeral Base. Get all 4 of my books. And of course, that's the Numeration for Mental Stability. Numbers are simple, people are complicated. Numbers are simple, children's health is important, and no promotion is bad promotion. Just spell my name right. Make sure you get them now on all my links. That's kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com. Go now.
Yes, we got a good show coming up for you today. Oh, we got a good show coming up for you today. We have the one, the only Rashida Strober coming in the building, baby. We're going to talk about Darkism Matter. It's time to heal in the dark. We're going to have a wonderful show today. Let me, let me put that back out and put that back in. Yeah, we're going to have a wonderful show today. I hope everybody is locked in and tuned in. Your brother King Simon is in the building. The Numero Veda is here. You know what numerovation means? It means motivating you with your numbers. I want to say happy birthday to a dear friend of mine who's been on my show, Yendes Nefer Atum Priestess. Yendes Nefer Atum, of course, the owner of Apothecary over there on Madison Avenue in Tompkins in the place called Brooklyn, right there on the Black Girls Lane right there. That's where all the black women's magic is doing. They doing a lot of black women own some businesses over there. So big up to her. Big up today, of course, today's birthday. Nick Cannon's birthday is today. So respect to Nick Cannon and his birthday. I hope he does a lot with all them children he got. You know what I'm saying? Hope he does a lot. And happy birthday to Teddy Riley. New Jack Swing, baby. Oh, yeah. We got a big up to all of those people. And also Pascal Beverly Randolph. Very good book I've been reading for his birthday. This book here is called Sex Magicians. This one is written in the lives and the spiritual practices of Pascal Beverly Randolph. They got all kinds of people on this one. This is a very good book too, written by Michael William West. Very good book so far, giving you the history of Pascal Beverly Randolph, who was born in New York on 70 Canal Street, which is interesting because his life path is a number 7, and he was born on a building that added up to the number 70, which is a 7. Very interesting patterns when you recognize pattern cycles and sequences when it comes to numbers. And want to remind everybody that this coming Wednesday, tune in to the new show that is broadcast every Wednesday called Healing Vibes. Oh yeah, Healing Vibes is fun. Myself and the only Carrie Ann Ingram, we are the host of that show. If you do want to advertise on Healing Vibes, you can go to our IG, DM us on the IG at Healing Vibes Show, or you can to advertise, you can actually email us at the emails on the bottom, Carrie@carrieanningram.com or ksptvmedia@gmail.com. Also, do remember that next week Sunday we have the one, the only Dr. B Serious. He'll be here at 12:12 in the afternoon Eastern Standard Time. Dr. B Serious, as we're going to be talking about the God Power 2 and all that he does in our community for all of us in the community. We want to big that up. And just confirmed yesterday, that evening, October 15th, at 10:10 p.m., we got Kaba Hayawata Kamene, author, educator, historian, and much more. He's coming in with promoter, producer, Crystals and Stone Advisor, Sister Kafunya Ife. They got a big event happening on October 21st at Nicholas, Brooklyn. Big up to Nicholas, Brooklyn all the time. 1396 Fulton Street. That's going to be in Brooklyn. Make sure you give them a call for direction and information. 718-858-4400. That's 718-858-4400. And then on the 22nd of the one, on the 18th, I got to remind people, on the 18th, I have coming up, I didn't do the flyers for that. Queen Esther will be on my show. That's the business partner and friend of the City of Wellness of Queen of Four. And then on the 22nd, we have this beautiful sister, Melanin B, comedian extraordinaire, laugh yogi, and entrepreneur, will be with us on October 22nd. And then, and of course, she got a big tour coming through Atlanta, so it's going to be big on 11/10. That's 11/10, November the 10th. That's going to be a big show, a big humorous, laughing, yoga, Lafista healing workshop. She's going to be doing it at a private location. And I think there's only 50 people allowed at this workshop, 50 to probably 60 people allowed to this workshop. Also, vending is available, so you can contact her by her website. That's holisticallyhilarious.com. If you want to vend, they only have limited vending space. And do remember, family, my class is going to be October the 28th. October the 28th, applied numerovation. The tickets, the advanced early bird tickets are approximately $44 right now. And after on November the 11th, on October the 11th, I'm sorry, it will be $55 general admission. So make sure you get your early bird tickets real quick right now. Also on the 29th at 7:07 p.m., we'll have Dr. Phil Valentine. He'll be speaking about being a man and a woman is an experience, not a job description. We got him coming up, so make sure you tune in and lock into that. And the sponsors for my show this particular month is the one, the only Carrie Ann Ingram's, of course, my co-host for the big show called Healing Vibes. So make sure you support Carrie Ann Ingram and all her products and all that. That's carrieanningram.com, linktree/Carrie Ann Ingram, and also Lloyd Strayhorn. Lloyd-Strayhorn.com. That's Lloyd-Strayhorn.com. Hit him up. Big up to Drop Squad Kitchen. Nicholas Brooklyn. If you're ever in Nicholas Brooklyn, big up them, and support them. Also, Drop Squad Kitchen. I want to do a new flyer for them. So big up to Drop Squad Kitchen also. And if you want to travel with Baba Ashra Kwesi, please hit up Baba Ashra Kwesi at 214-371-0206 and tell them that King Simon sent you so I can get the credit for it. And remember, get all my books through Linktree/King Simon the Numerator, and also take my 2-hour holistic introductory course on Udemy. You could go to Linktree/King Simon the Numerator. If you want to take my 8-hour course, go to Linktree/King Simon the Numerator. But anyone that purchased this live webinar that I'm doing on October 28th, you will get a $100 discount off of this 8-hour course. The live event is only going to be 3 hours. The 8-hour course is, a historical breakdown of numerology, not just numerology, but the holistic numerovation, how to use it for yourself. Remember, if you want to book a session, please text me your full name and date of birth to 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022. All right. How y'all doing out there? How you doing? How you doing? I hope your vibration is high and your vibes is even better. Those that watch me on IG, also remember my IG is IM.KingSimon. That's IM.KingSimon. I just did a recent IG that I will rebroadcast some of it on YouTube after this program, but it was a goodie one. It was a good one now. So y'all got to tune in to me on IG in the mornings when I drop some of that information through numbers, but also inspiring people because, like I said, I am a numerovator. Numerology, I use numerology, but I use motivational principles to consult you on a day, in a session. And remember, the study of numbers or numerology is applied mathematics. Learn how to apply your numbers, and they will guide you if you are willing to work at it. I'm just saying. It is now 8 minutes after the hour, 8 minutes after the hour, 8 minutes after the top of the hour. I want to let everybody know that, of course, I am proud of each and every one of you, even if I don't know you, but keep on striving to be your best. Do what you have to do as we're going into a number 8-year cycle. Remember, 8 is not only one of the ancestral numbers of understanding your inner well-beings of who you are ancestry and knowing your pedigree, but it's also one of the money frequency numbers, one of the money attractor numbers, but it also reminds you to be disciplined, to find order, to dot all I's and cross every T when it comes to assets and liabilities. And in the 8-year 2024 that's coming up, and now that we're in the sneak peek months of what's to come, you got to remember in the 8-year, it's not only the number of discipline, but also recognizing assets and liabilities in your life. We got 2 more minutes before we bring on the one Rashida, but remember your assets. Also, signs that are connected to the number 8 is going to be the 2024 is going to be very favorable for signs that are connected to the number 8 also, and people that are born on the 8th of the month, the 17th of the month, and the 26th of the month, but also zodiac signs that are connected to the number 8, like Capricorn and Aquarius in a minor favor, because at one time, Aquarius and Capricorn shared the same planet, which was Saturn, but Aquarius is still sharing some of the energy of that planet. So it's going to be a very good year for me too. And the person that I got coming on, she's a Capricorn. So we're going to make sure she have a good year also, right? So we're getting ready for her to come on. As soon as I see her pop up in the back screen, so she turns on her camera and her microphone, we'll get ready to bring her on with a well-deserved round of applause, because the sister that I'm about to bring on at 11:11 this time Not only is she the founder of Darkism, Colorism, Rashida Strober, the originator of the entire Darkism, Colorism lane, understand Darkism and colorism better than anyone else. She started it all. Rashida took the real hits for dark skin, darkism, and colorism before anyone cared about dark skin. No one has taken more abuse or been in the fight for dark skin equality longer than Rashida Strober. She is often imitated, but there is only one Rashida Strober. Let's welcome on our stage for the realest of the real, our sister, your sister, from another dark-skinned brother like myself, the one, my beautiful sister. She's a dark-skinned, beautiful sister. Let's welcome the one, the only, Rashida Strober.
Oh my God, you the best hype man in the world. Oh my goodness.
What's up, beautiful?
I love it. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Oh my God. I gotta laugh. I'm like, wow, that's some hype, good hype stuff right there. Well, Thank you for having me.
Rashida, you don't know me from a can of paint, but but I tell you one thing, I've been MC for many years.
I see.
I've been on major stages. I've been on Madison Square Garden as an MC. I've been on I've been on Beacon Theater. I've been on major stages. So I'm one of those people. When you want me to introduce you, even if you didn't have a record or anything out there, I'm gonna make you sound like you are better than life, bigger than life. You look here, man. One time somebody told me, said I can make a cockroach sound like their celebrity. That's how good I am. Coming from under the refrigerator could survive a nuclear war. Let's welcome on stage. I just know how to do that.
I love it. It's amazing. Thank you very much.
It is a gift. It is a gift. Yes. I realize it is a gift.
For sure.
People that are just coming in, we have our beautiful Rashida Strober in the building.
Good morning.
She's our guest, our multi-talented actress, activist, and you can contact her via IG at Strober Rashida, and also her email is rmariestrober@gmail. The Cash App is Rashida Lala.
You got it, Lala.
Rashida Lala. And her PayPal, you can use the PayPal email. That's icecreamladydream@yahoo. And don't forget her website. Oh, we're gonna show some of her website. She got some beautiful pictures on there. One of the pictures that struck me was when you was a little child. That picture struck me because I remember my sister looking similar, and that brought almost a tear to my eye because I recall my sister looking like that when she was a child also. And she's beautiful also, and she's a radio personality right now and doing her thing. But first and foremost, I'm honored to have you here. Finally, I supported your one-woman play in Harlem. I think I was one of the promoters at that time too.
You were?
Yeah, man, I was one of the street promoters because you connected with me, and we packed the house.
Sarnetta recommended you.
Sarnetta recommended.
You highly recommended by Sarnetta.
Big up Sarnetta. Big up Sarnetta.
Yeah.
My brother, I spoke to him yesterday. But I'm honored that you have came on to show the importance of the healing that we had to do, or you had to do in the dark, because it touched my heart to know when I'm reading through your bio and reading everything, I'm saying, man, she says she's been through a lot. And I think a lot of us that with this complexion have been through a lot. I mean, I was called all kind of name other than the child of God when I was a child. So I remember that even my auntie, and I think I told you on a private, and I've said it live before, at 8 years old, I thought about taking my life at 8 because I didn't know who loved me. If I'm trying to make friends in school and you're gonna call me a blackboard and call me this and dog me out at the young age, and then come to your family, and then your auntie says, how come he came out so dark? And I'm like, yo, and I'm like, yeah, what? So I almost took my life with a razor blade. I still got the mark on my wrist that I almost went there with it. And I think the topic is not just darkism matters, but it's time to heal in the dark. Because when we get sick, Rashida, we always go crawl up in our bed and go to sleep, and we're closing our eyes to go into dark. So I think it's time for us to realize how important it is that darkism and the time to heal in the darkness of the darkism is so important. What, how you been? What you got to say to that? And let's go.
Oh my God. Where do I start? I could start from the beginning.
Yeah.
If you like.
Sure. Let's go down that road. Come on. Let's have some fun.
All right. Well, I think that's what I'll do. I'll start from the beginning because there's over the years there's been a lot of misconceptions, and so I try my very best to clear up the misconceptions with facts. Okay. And that part of me comes from my background. I have a bachelor's degree in history from the University of South Florida. Okay. And a master's degree in political science from the University of South Florida.
I gotta get that right. You're a wise one.
Well, I say that because I like to deal with what is factual. Right. And so there's been a lot of controversy around me over the last, I would say, 10 years because I let people know that I founded this thing called dark skin activism. Yes. And people are like, what are you talking about? They are confused. Mm-hmm. And so what I like to do is go back to the beginning. That's and I like to present the facts. Okay. So dark skin activism, it's really started with my childhood. And you mentioned being 8 years old and being called what I call them darkest names. Yes. You were called those names and it led you to almost committing suicide. Yeah. And I can understand where you're coming from. I get that fully. Yes. And the reason I get that is because darkism started in my childhood. And as a child, I did not understand or know, obviously, how to articulate it. Me neither. I knew it was something wrong, but it took time for me to grow into, young adulthood, into adulthood, and articulate it as a movement, something worthy of saying, let me create a movement around this in order to be able to get rid of it. Yeah. And so darkism started in my childhood. Growing up, I have 5 brothers. My dad, may he rest in peace, he was dark skinned. He was a member of the Nation of Islam for 30 plus years. Yes. Shout out to the nation. And my dad was super dark skinned. And my dad, in his younger days, and I want people to just kind of bear with me and not pass judgments because I'm giving you facts. That's right. I'm not saying these things because there's animosity or hatred towards non-dark skinned people. I'm stating what is factual. Right, so my dad, he started out dating lighter skinned women and he has, several children. Right. And as the children get younger, they get darker. And that was in direct correlation with his knowledge of self, because what he decided to do is as he got older, he decided to date darker skinned women. That's what he did. And that's how I came about. My mom and my dad, they have a 30-year age difference. My mom was about 23 and my dad was 53 when I was conceived. And my mom is dark skinned. My dad is dark skinned. And that's how I came about. I have an older sister. She's probably like, I would say 80 something now. She's very, very light skinned. So, and I haven't really interacted with her. I'm just giving you the history of my father and how things went down. So anyway, my dad and my mom split up, I think when I was probably around maybe 3 or 4 years old. And my dad is probably the single most reason why I adore Black men, because he treated me with kindness, respect, love, care, compassion. He was a wonderful human being. So I did not experience darkism with my dad. Now, I grew up primarily in the household of my mom, who was a Christian woman. And that is where with my mom, I'm not blaming her for it. I'm just giving facts again. That is where I experienced this thing that I now call darkism. Growing up, I was treated differently because I was dark, and the people in my family let me know. The lighter skinned people, they got gifts. They got told they were beautiful. They just got treated better. And I saw this growing up. Right. I, on the other hand, was called every name in the book for being dark skinned.
That's right.
Blackie, ugly, monkey mouth, tar baby, midnight fright. I could go on and on and on about the darkest names that I was called. And I wasn't accepted as pretty and beautiful within my own family as I started to move out into the world. Like you said, when you go to school, when you go to church, when you go into other institutions of society, I encountered the same thing. Yeah. You're black, you're ugly, you're nappy-headed, you are not worthy. And I began, and people probably will not believe this, but I'm an introvert. I really am. I've always been introverted. I know it don't seem that way, but I'm actually very introverted. And I would sit back.
Hey, family, she did not even want to turn on the camera. Let's get it out there. She didn't even want to come on with a camera.
I didn't want to go on camera today, but I'm actually very introverted. And being dark skinned and introverted, that's a whole nother form of darkism. But so I internalized a lot of these things and I compartmentalized them and I kept them in, and I would sit back and I would observe and I would read, and I would go, sometimes I would go to my dad's house and he would have me listening to tapes from the Nation of Islam. He didn't watch television. It was so quiet and peaceful and clean, and you know, it was a wonderful place to be. And I'm just sitting there reading, and you know, I internalized all this stuff, and I didn't realize that later on I was like, oh, I would develop a name or a movement to express and deal with the oppression that I was experiencing. And so I grew up and went through a lot of different things. My mom, 11th grade high school dropout. She was poor. We were poor. We went through hell and high water, me and my 5 brothers. So I ended up becoming homeless, going through a lot of different things that were setbacks. But throughout all of that,
of course,
long story short, when I was at St. Petersburg College, well, prior to that, what I would do is I would go to some of my family members' houses, and I began to start to articulate this thing about being dark skinned. And I'm not going to mention any names, but there were family members who would tell me to get out of their house. I don't want to hear this. You are jealous. You are crazy. I don't want to hear it. I remember there was one particular family member. There was some girls, probably around 14, 15, and I was taking the garbage out. And a little girl, she was really dark skinned, and she told her other friends, I got Indian in my family. I might be dark, but I got Indian. That's what she said. And I was listening. I'm always taking stuff in. And I'm saying this girl is defending the fact that she's dark skinned, and by saying, well, you know what? I am dark skinned, but this gives me a little bit more leverage because I have Indian in my family. And so I went back in the house and I was telling this person about that. And they were like, get out of here with all that dark skin stuff. Now, this was in the 90s. This was before social media existed. And this is why I always say I started this. Hear me out. So this particular person, they would tell me, you need to stop coming to my house talking about all this dark skin stuff. And this person would tell me that my great grandmother was a full-blooded Indian, and they would show me pictures of how long her hair was. And so this Indian thing, it was a running theme that I saw used by Black people, dark-skinned Black people, to say, well, you know what? I'm dark-skinned, I'm Black, but I got Indian in me, and you can see that sit in my skin and my hair. So that makes me a little bit more better. It makes it a little better. And that was a problem with me. No disrespect to the Indians, but that was a problem with me. And I always would fight against, well, why can't we just be proud of being fully African? Dark skin, nappy hair, what I consider to be the authentic Black. And it was this conflict going on now. This was in the 90s. So what I decided to do, one day when I was an undergraduate student at St. Petersburg College, this was in 1998, I used to walk to the college. Sometimes I would walk, I didn't have no transportation. And there was a record store, I never forget, Lauryn Hill, Miss Education Act came out. And I saw this beautiful dark-skinned nappy-headed and Alec Weck, dark-skinned Sudanese model in 97. She was on the cover of one of the white mainstream magazines, and I saw it and I bought it and I have it to this day. So St. Petersburg College was having an event called Harambe, And they had, you could call it a speech contest. There was a $200 prize, and I needed some money, and I was like fiery and angry, and I was like trying to figure these things out about being dark skinned. Why is this going on? And so I decided to enter this contest and put together this speech, if you will. And there was an Indian young lady that I went up against, a young black male student, and several other people. And I go and I put together this speech about being dark skinned and how dark skinned women are attacked. And I believe I did some research on Alec Weck, and black people were saying because she had a bald head that she is not the standard of black beauty. She's ugly. And I said, I'm going to address this. And I go to St. Petersburg College and I address it in this speech. Long story short, I ended up winning the $200 prize. And
good. Ain't that right? That's right.
But that marks the birth of what I call dark skin activism, because that is exactly what it was and became. That speech, it created, this was in 98, before social media existed. It created so much controversy. Even though I won, I got off the stage and people was looking at me like I was crazy. And I heard people whispering, saying stuff like she a hater, she's jealous. And I was like, it was kind of shocking to me at that point. But at the same time, I had already experienced people in my family saying, well, you just jealous of light-skinned women. So I had already experienced a lot of the hate and the criticism that I would later receive when I brought dark skin activism on to social media. So 1998 created dark skin activism, which is actually the first movement to fight to end what some people call colorism, but I call it darkism. It's the first movement. Do your research. At that time, there was only one other person that was speaking out against dark skin discrimination, and her name is Cola Booth. I got to be honest. She was the only other person. This is the truth. So fast forward, I began, after I gave that speech and realized, oh, this is what I need to be doing. I began to develop plays and books and a social commentary around only dark skin, first of its kind. This has never been done before.
That's right.
Because what was happening is dark skinned people and dark skinned women, they were afraid to cast light on being dark skinned because it would bring more oppression. So they didn't want to talk about it publicly. This thing about talking about colorism and dark skin now is new. It was not going down like that in 98 and before social media. It wasn't. Dark skinned people were running away from speaking out about being dark skinned because again, if you spoke out about it, you would get even more of a backlashing. The black people would say you're jealous of light skinned women. I heard that more times than I could count. They would call you a hater, and you would be deemed even more ugly. So dark-skinned women, dark-skinned men, dark-skinned actresses, they veered away from talking about dark skin. They wanted to talk about other things in the black community, not dark skin. That was taboo. I want to give honor to the author of The Black of the Berry, Wallace Thurman, because he was ahead of his time. When he wrote his book. Now, he did in his book back in the 1930s. Emmylou, the main character, he was talking, I call him the father of dark skin activism because he is. He wrote about the colorism, I call it darkism, that Emmylou was going through in the 1930s. So his work is very innovative to me. But moving right along, I began to develop the books, the plays, and I started doing community, what I call darkism talks about dark skin in high schools, libraries, anywhere where people would have me. And it started to catch on. It took a long time, but it started to catch on. And at the same time, I was in college. I had got my bachelor's degree in history, and then I went on to get my master's degree in political science. And it hit me while I was working on my master's degree in political science because I was experiencing so much darkism because I was the only Black female in the political science master's degree program. And I had to fight to get in there. And it was hell and high water. There was a dark-skinned lady. I'll never forget her. She helped me. And but I was forced as a part of being a master's degree student in political science to sit and read and debate about white political theorists. and how they came up with all these different theories and paradigms and the paradigm shifts. And it hit me, I am a thought leader. I am a theorist. I can come up with my own political theory. Let me do this. And that's where dark skin activism, it became developed on an intellectual level. I was doing the artistic part, but there's also an intellectual portion of dark skin activism. And I had been reading and studying the colorism scholarly literature, which I respect the scholars behind the colorism scholarly literature. But one of the things you do as a scholar, you look for gaps in the literature. You look for gaps in the scholarship where certain things are not addressed. And while colorism, it was addressing what dark skinned people was going through, it wasn't specific enough for me. I wanted to focus and hone in laser sharp on what dark skinned people face. And that is where the word darkism, which I created and wrote a book of the same name, darkism, came out of me just continuously studying colorism, continuously reading the scholars. And I said, wait a minute, darkism, and developed this word darkism, which means the discrimination of dark-skinned people. It focuses laser sharp on what dark-skinned people go through. And please don't misunderstand me. I have so much respect for the colorism scholars. I respect scholarship. I respect Black intellectuals. I respect intellectuals altogether. But again, dark-skinned people's issues was not being adequately covered in the scholarly literature. There was a gap. And so this is where darkism comes in. I create this word darkism, and I begin to write the book Darkism. It took me a while to publish it. It was published in 2016, but I had been working on it for a long time.
but hold on one second. Single pen. Y'all heard my sister. She got to take a drink. Let her take a drink. We got our beautiful sister Rashida Strober. I didn't know your father was a part of the Nation of Islam, because I was also a part of the Nation of Islam, an active member, and that helped me also. Matter of fact, it helped me from the lessons of the 5% at 14 when it said, "Who is the original man?" The original man is the Asiatic Black man, the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe, father of civilization. When it said that, my mind twisted. It just went somewhere else, to the point that I got bored with school and got kicked out of school when I was good at math and science and history. But I just got bored with what they was teaching me from their perspective. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that you had that, your father's influence, who was a dark-skinned man who was in the nation, that, a lot of people don't give the credit to a lot what nation have done when it came to saying, my brother, my sister, Black self, Black do for self, do that. They don't give enough credit to yesterday was the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's birthday. I gave him credit for his birthday because I understood his mathematical teachings and how that served a purpose, not only for people like Clarence 13X, to produce the 5% nation, but also Malcolm X, Dr. Khaled, Minister Farrakhan, Ava Muhammad. All these people came out of it. Muhammad Ali, Joe Tex, everybody came out loving Black more. You know what I'm saying? That was like original Black power alongside the Black power movement of the Stokely Carmichaels and all the great ones that was doing their things in the Black Panther Party movement and all of those other, the SNCC and everybody else. So I want to give your father a round of applause.
Thank you.
Is he still with us?
No, he passed away in 2001.
Man, may his energy be always with you. I could tell you probably got all of his energy and all of that. So that's a good thing.
I think so.
But because the topic is Darkism Matters, it's time to heal in the dark. I see that you have consultation classes and all that. You consult people. Do you consult children also that might be going through this also? Do you consult little children that might be going through that whole class, darkism, colorism thing? Because I went through it and I had no consultation. I basically was on my own.
Yeah, I don't. The work is mainly geared towards 18 and up. But I will say that I have been a Great American teaching speaker. I've done Great American teaching and speaking probably at least 4 or 5 times in the Pinellas County schools here where I live. And I've done Darkism talks with high school age students. Good. So, I mean, in a way, yes, but it's been mainly geared towards 18 and up.
I suggest that you probably do it with children with their parents around, like a little thing, because sometimes we just need support. I like I said, I almost took my life at 8, but what the intervention at that time was something in my head, like an ancestral thing, just kept on saying, "What are you doing? You're gonna miss your grandmother. You're gonna miss your father." The people that did not dog me out, because they was also dark complexion, but the lighter skins of my family, they was doing that, but my darker skin of the family wasn't doing that. But it just bombarded me with like something in my head, and then I just put down the blade and I went into my room and started crying. People didn't know why I was crying. I just started crying very profusely and everything, but I knew it was an intervention because I didn't understand the voices in my head. What the hell are these people? Who are these people? On the bathroom, and it was the darkness of the bathroom because I turned off the light to do it. I didn't want to see blood pouring out. I just wanted to cut and keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? I still got the mark right here. I can see it right here. It's small now because I did it at a young age, but it's much smaller now because I did it at a young age, and I understood after. And I look at that mark sometime and say, man, I could have been just a picture on a mantle today, and not doing what I'm doing today.
Exactly. We are so glad you're here.
Yeah, I'm glad that we all here.
Very glad you're here. No, I'm glad you did not take your life. Like you are a blessing. So we are very glad you're here.
We are glad.
It's a very powerful story.
It is a very powerful story. And I think about it all the time. And I think my own sister that was close to me didn't even understand the depth of it because she was like 2 years younger than me. And she was a little bit lighter than me. But she was, and I think one time she even joined into that whole dark skin thing. And when you have somebody that you felt you grew up with and you trust, start calling you black and this and following the suit, she don't even realize how impactful that was to me as a child growing up with her. And I had to make certain moves. I had to leave. I had to run away. I had to find. I found the Muslim community, but I found Muslim communities that was promoting Black power. I went into the Ansar community, Dr. York, and before he became whatever he became, he was an Ansar community. I went into the Nation of Islam. I was done in 5%. I became a rebel with a cause. I became a rebel with a cause, this time promoting Black power through whatever religious background that I was using. So it's triggering to remember those things, and I'm definitely writing it in my autobiography, When the Late Bell Rang. And it was a late bell that rang in my ears later on, but it showed me what happened to why I had to start cutting school, leaving school, and I started cutting school from public school. I started cutting and leaving school from public school because I was bored. And I didn't know where my next way of knowledge or who I was going to become later on in life. Nobody could tell me at 8 or 10 or 14 or 15 that I would be writing books and doing what I'm doing today, or been on some major stages and helped some great people in the artistry. So I think when it comes to what you're doing, I commend you. Because yes, you definitely, although many of us was going through it, we didn't discover this. You definitely put the battery behind the back of Darkism and kept it moving. So we have to commend that. But healing. What are some of the healing processes that you would offer, or let people know what they need to do to start building some type of their healing morale inside of them somehow to take them over that hump? Because there's many of us that are going through it, not just in America, but around the world. In the Caribbean, there's a form of classism. That's what I got in my Jamaican family. It's classism. The lighter, the dark skin, the darker, you're better, you're bro. I mean, Buju Banton had to change and do a whole new song for the dark skinned women, because he was singing about Browning, and Browning was those light-skinned women, uptown light-skinned women, and he had to, because the dark-skinned women complained, he had to do a whole thing about dark-skinned women. Buju Banton, the reggae artist. People don't even know and remember that. That's a whole history. So what is it that you would say that of the people that's been crying in silence and been just staying to them, what would you say to them and give them guidance, please?
There's so much you can do, and I'm going based off of my own experience. I'm a big advocate of counseling. I have, but you got to get the right type of counseling, I believe. Somebody that's compassionate and African-centered and that can understand these issues. So counseling is definitely one. I'm speaking professional therapy and counseling.
Of course.
I also wrote a book called How to Be the Hottest Dark-Skinned Chick on the Planet. And in that book, one of the things that I shared as well is diet. Your diet and your exercise are very important. Why? Because when you are eating right and taking care of yourself and exercising, you are gonna feel better about yourself physically and mentally, and it gives you the mental strength to fight against darkism. I was in the Uhuru movement. Shout out to Chairman O'Malley. I should tell him.
To the Uhuru movement. I don't see that book on your website. Is it on your website? I don't see it.
How to Be the Hottest Dark-Skinned Chick on the Planet, the book?
Yes.
I don't think that's on there. That's on Amazon.
Okay.
That's sold on Amazon.
Okay.
But what I wanted to say is I'll never forget, we used to have meetings, Sunday meetings, and the chairman is a vegetarian and a strong man and just beautiful looking human being. And he would say, you got to take care of yourself and you got to eat right. You can't be, out of shape and be a revolutionary. He would encourage you to take care of yourself. And he's right. I was like, yeah, that's exactly right. Because you got to be mentally and physically fit to fight against darkism. So that's another thing. Take care of yourself, eat right, exercise, meditation, therapy. Another thing too, I recommend, and I know it's hard for some people, but until we deal with darkism head on and unapologetically, it's going to continue to attack us. And that's one of the things I wanted to say about myself.
Right.
When I internalized the darkism I was going through, nothing was being done about it. But when I started to come out and speak out against darkism unapologetically, not concerned about hurting people's feelings, and just telling my truth, that's when I started to see changes being made. So you have to speak out to your oppressors about your oppression. You have to let people know you are not going to take darkism. Okay. Giving an example of that. I used to work in the Pinellas County schools. And anytime I saw darkism going on with dark-skinned Black children, I would attack it immediately. I didn't care if the principal didn't like me or if they was going to fire me. You have to have, you have to be willing to lose to win. That's and right. a lot of Black people are afraid. You cannot be afraid. It has to almost be the situation where I have nothing to lose. I cannot tell you asking me this question, I'm speaking on it now, but normally I don't even talk about this. I can't tell you the amount of times working in a classroom down here in St. Petersburg, Florida, where it's very racist at, where if I saw darkism, I'm immediately taking control. I don't care if it's a white teacher there, a Black teacher there, I don't care who you are. We're going to deal with this now and we're going to nip it in the bud. So you have to, a big part of this is being bold and speaking out against it, nipping it in the bud right when you see it. I remember there was this super dark-skinned child. I would never forget him. And I was subbing at this particular school that was in the hood. And they asked me, I didn't really want to be a long-term sub there because I was pregnant at the time. But they asked me, they said, can you come in? Because the teacher had left all these children. And they told me that this little dark-skinned Black boy, they said, he's so bad and he this, that, and the third, and you got to watch out for him. You can send him out. And I said, I'm not sending him out. People probably thought I was crazy. He's going to stay in the class. He's staying in the class. That's right. And the kids were looking at me like I was crazy because I was doing the opposite of what all the other teachers were. I'm going to protect him. He's going to sit up here in the front. Y'all going to listen to what he got to say. You're going to be respectful, and we're going to get this right. Long story short, I didn't have no problems out this kid. He actually turned himself around. We went to Enterprise Village, which is a rite of passage program that teaches you how to work in business and work at different jobs, etc. down here. And I remember he dressed up, and they was telling me he wasn't gonna be able to do all this. That young man went and he dressed up. He looked so nice, and he had no issue. You have to fight that. This is a way of fighting for these children. And teachers, Black teachers, y'all need to stand up. Y'all worried about y'all positions. Y'all worried about getting promotions. you gotta kind of like be selfless. You gotta sacrifice.
That's right.
So a big part of it is standing up. Once you decide that you're gonna stand up against it, a lot of this will be squashed. And I told y'all I was introverted, but when I see darkism, I don't play. I turn into a different person. Don't do that around me, or it's gonna be a problem. Another thing too.
Yes.
If I am disrespected, in my book, Darkism, 25 Ways Dark-Skinned People Are Discriminated Against, I speak about darkism in customer service down here in Florida, where I would go into different stores, etc., and people would take light or white people before me. I'm here not making no problems, because they like to say dark-skinned people are violent and loud, and I don't do all of that.
That's right.
But if a person takes a person that's light or white before me, I say something. And you don't have to say it in a threatening, menacing way. You can check them and let them know, hey, I see what you're doing. Or another thing that I've done, because the written word, what they say, the pen is mightier than the sword. It's very true. The pen is mightier than the sword. I put the pen to paper and I get some results done.
That's right.
So you have to fight intellectually. You have to fight verbally. I'm not saying you got to fight physically. I'm not going to advocate violence, because I haven't done that. I've used this and this.
That's right.
So these are some of the ways you attack it head on. You attack it head on. You also affirm. You affirm Black, dark-skinned children. I'm not saying that you don't affirm light-skinned or brown-skinned children, but you affirm the beauty and the intellect of and the kindness and the ethics and the morals of dark-skinned children. You affirm. That's what I did with this young man. They thought I was going to come in there and say, hey, principal, I need you to come down here and take him out. We're not doing that. No, we're going to let him sit here in this class. We're going to listen to what he got to say. We're going to see what's in his brain, let him develop his intellectual skills, because that's what was not going on. They had some of the non-Black kids in the classroom that they were allowing to run the classroom. They were allowing them to intellectually shine, but you pushing the dark-skinned ones to the back. We're not going to do that. We're equals. Demand equality. Demand equality for yourself as a dark-skinned person. Demand equality for your dark-skinned kids. And I don't play with my own dark-skinned daughter. I did it with my son as well. I paid for private schools. I did Goodman. I did tutoring. I did everything in my power. And it is not easy. I'll tell y'all that. But I did it because I was fighting for the dark-skinned child, my own dark skin. Now, my daughter is totally different from me. My daughter is not, because she have not gone through the darkism that I have, because of the fight that I have done for her and others over the years. She is like, her personality is totally she is calm, cool, collected, sweet, nice. And that's exactly how I want to be. But I couldn't be that.
And she's loving, right? That's a loving one. That's
the times that I was going through, the things that I was going through, I had to fight with it head on. Let's go. You can't sit there and cower and bow down if you being attacked. You're either going to get beat or you're going to get up and you're going to fight. And that's what I had to do. So you attack this stuff head on. You attack it head on. You let people know you cannot walk all over me. You cannot treat me inhumanely. I am your equal. I had to do that in graduate school. I had to let these white people know I'm your equal. I'm your intellectual. In fact, I'm better than you. A lot of them I graduated before they did, because I was able to get the job done. I was able to write the thesis. I was able to defend my thesis and do all the things you were supposed to do. You have to prove yourself and fight and let these people know. If you back down and you cower, that's going to be a problem for you.
Yeah, family. As you can see, she is on fire.
I know that was
on fire. She reminds me of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, my brother. Khalid will not back down. One thing about him, and both of them are Capricorns. This is so funny.
And I want to add another thing. I'm going to add one more thing. I know y'all might think this is strange, but I'm a marathon runner. Running, the pain of running, it helps me to. It's like this thing where I got to get to the finish line. I got to get there. I don't care what I'm going through. Somebody said, even if you're going through hell, keep going. They was right. I don't know who said that, but thank you for saying it. You're right. I marathon run because it's symbolic to me. I gotta, no matter what I'm going through, I gotta get to this damn finish line. That's my goal. And so it's mentally, it's mental medicine. It prepares me to deal with darkism, to deal with racism. So exercise, if you can run, if you can walk, whatever you could do, get out there and move. I promise you, it will help you to deal with racism and darkism, because it's you know, they want dark-skinned people. There's some of the dark-skinned young ladies I grew up with. They want us to be out here. I saw them on crack. I saw them strung out, walking the streets of St. Petersburg. That's how they want you to be. No, we are not going to do that. We're going to reverse this. We're going to be strong. We're going to be healthy. And we're going to keep fighting you. We're going to keep fighting you until we ain't got no breath. That's what we're going to do. That's how it's got to be done.
Again, let me give that a round of applause. Man, woo! And when she said she's a warrior, family. And you know, you're right. There's a lot of sisters that I've known that was homeless or became homeless. And they were, most of the majority of them was dark skinned. A few was lighter skinned sisters. But I remember doing I used to do as to show the patterns, cycles, and sequences of numbers. I used to do a case study with homeless people. So just to find out what would be the positive and negative. So I used to give them money and I asked them for their birthday to find out what was going on. One of them was born the same day as Barack Obama, right? But she was going, the four energy in numerology is a number of mental health. So they have to protect their mind, but she was going through it. I mean, I sat with her really for a brief moment and said, a lot of the stuff is mental. You still holding on to stuff. And she said, yes, I'm still holding on to the trauma of stuff that has happened to me. Dark-skinned, beautiful dark-skinned sister, but you could tell she was using drugs and all that stuff, and she kept on moving. And I said, no, I'm not being disrespectful. I just wanted to make sure. I'm just looking to see what happened and learn from you, and through the use of. That's why I asked you birthday. Then there's another dark-skinned brother that was born August the 19th. He was homeless too. He used to come into Nicholas and tear down stuff. Monique, if she's watching, she'll remember Mr. Watson used to come in. We don't know where that older guy is, but I could tell him being August the 19th and what he went through and what was some of the things. A lot of stuff with people born on that number is usually ego that holds them back from wanting to heal or grow. So I look at all those. I do case studies. When people don't really understand why I'll give a homeless person an act for their birthday, and I'm trying to pull pull it in to understand and study my environment and how these numbers can work for the betterment of people. So I really commend you for being the scholar that you are and doing what you had to do, and being that rough and rugged, because you're rugged with it, but you still have poise. You still present yourself. Even when I watched you doing that play in 2017, I remember that, of course, with this play right here, I remember that play and all the different characters you were bringing out and running backstage and running back and coming out with a different outfit and changing right there in front of us or slip. I mean, I could relate. I was sitting in the back, not only because of security reasons, I like to be near the door, but I'm always paying attention to what happens in front. But I was really admiring how you was delivering and putting it all out. You reminded me of Moms Mabley, Phyllis, Yvonne, Stickney, Hazelle, Goodman, all wrapped up in one, as far as I'm concerned. And you did a wonderful job. And we definitely gonna have to work on, bringing one of your one-woman plays out here to Georgia. Since I'm out here now, we need to bring it. You're not too far. You're in Florida, so you're not.
I just did the Atlanta Black Theater Festival September 1st. I just did the festival. I performed there. Shout out to Tony Henson. I love it.
I didn't even know they had a black, theater thing out here. I didn't even know. I
want to say also, I love y'all New York people to death. Oh, y'all showed me so. Oh my God, I never forgot. The people of Harlem and the people of Brooklyn. I thought y'all was just amazing, and also the Bronx. Oh my God, I just want to say I love y'all.
We came out to show you some love at that
time.
Y'all
did.
And one last thing before we close out, because it's 55 minutes, 5 minutes before the top of the hour, we're going to be out. The sister's a bit busy, sister. One last thing, you want a defamation thing, lawsuit. And I'm not going to say the person's name, but I want to encourage women that goes through any of that to be willing to fight for your rights. Like Bob Marley used to say, fight for your rights. Don't be afraid to fight for your rights. You could talk about it briefly, but we don't have to mention that person's name. Somebody major in the podcasting and content creating world, but you did win, and it did take you some time. What do you tell women now? Because a lot of things are being attacked on women, not just verbally, but on YouTube, on people wanting to beat up on our sisters. That's why I tell all sisters, like in the Nation of Islam, learn how to fight. Come on in the dojos. Let's train y'all. Let's get it in. So what do you tell our sisters that are going through those type of defamation of people being attacking them, calling them whatever names, and think it's all right to send people to their houses and all that kind of stuff, your jobs? What do you say to sisters like that, and how can you be of assistance to them just in case?
Well, one of the things that you have to do is you have to separate the hypeness of YouTube and social media to the real world. In the real world, if you have to buckle down and just go do the work of finding an attorney, learning the law, learning what your rights are, and once you file your case, follow through.
Yes.
So it's all about discipline. It's very easy to get on YouTube and talk. I know it's very easy. I know people love it, but if you're being attacked, if you're being stalked, if you're being harassed, what you need to do is slow down. I had to do this myself. Calm yourself down, slow down.
Yes.
And figure out what the legal procedure is. Contact an attorney. Yes. Begin to study what the law is and begin to execute. Right. You may have to divorce yourself from social media because so that you can focus on what you need to do, but you have to take it very seriously and just do. So yes, I was in a protracted legal battle for really three years where I ended, and it took me a long time. Now I lost at least 3 or 4 times, but in the end, I ended up winning a federal copyright infringement, a state case, and in the appellate Second District Court of Appeals here in Florida. You can Google Rashida Strober cases. It's public record. It'll come right up.
Make sure y'all Google that. That's right. I'm prefacing that because this is all through this has been a very positive vibe, but people can be very dangerous with how they use their words, because the words is a powerful tool. And when people online is doing the trolling or the extensive trolling to the point that it can lead to hurting your children or your family, that is where I draw the line. I don't troll with nobody. So I'm not into that. I don't allow negative stuff on none of my feed. If you come in, a matter of fact, I got a saying on here, respectfully, this is a troll-free zone. So you trolls take a stroll somewhere else. That is my saying. Get out of here. I ain't got no time for that. And I troll, but when I did the numbers of trolling, it adds up to 44, and 44 is one of the mental health numbers. So people that do trolling is going through mental health. Yep. To even do things like that. So I'm proud of your journey, and please go Google up her name, Rashida Strober's trials, and her what is it called? Rashida
Strober cases, legal cases.
You'll be able to find out. Then you'll find out, because even that person had to you got money out of their pocket, so they really was punking out after a while, as you were saying. And as strong as they may look on television and on these YouTube channels, when you start hitting them in their pocket, family, girls, women, if you start hitting them in their pocket, you'll find how quick they become punks and sissies and women and acting like not women, but becoming, they become sissified because of that foolishness.
And I also have to say, I just want to say shout out to the attorneys. I had a brilliant attorney. I don't think he minds me saying his name. Life Malcolm. Shout out to him. I had another, I think she kind of does. I'm not going to say her name, but she's a Hispanic attorney down here in Florida that loves my work. And this woman is a silent assassin warrior. Like I want to say she knows who she is. Shout out. I didn't do this stuff by myself.
I love it.
Trust me. I had some people that were helping me and behind me, and I'm happy to share information. Like you can contact me and I'll happily share it with you. But I also wanted to add to that is you need to, thank you. Shout out to GD, non-attorney pro se consultant, GDNAPC. PSC Naps is in the building. Shout out to you as well. He just posted that. Also, what you need to do is you need to meticulously document. Right. Documentation. Like Malcolm Law. Thank you. Big up, Malcolm is the bomb, y'all. I'm telling you, man, this guy is so powerful. I'm tooting his horn. He's humble as hell. But you need to interview him. Oh.
Yeah, if I got you, after we get off, you can give me a connection. I'll definitely
interview amazing. He is amazing. Yes, but yes, you want to document what's going on. Documentation. Document everything. Be meticulous about it. Don't be lazy. Don't say I'm tired of this. This is getting on my nerves. No, you need to document everything. When I was preparing for my case, I transcribed, and I don't know if y'all know what that means. It means you're listening to a video and you're writing word for word or typing. I transcribed a 5-hour live.
Wow.
You have to be about your business. It's so important.
Wow.
Documentation, because the devil is in the details when we're dealing with the law. Mm-hmm. If you document and you got, proof and evidence, that is what is going to help you to win your case. Wow. You must document. You must keep your evidence and proof in order. Very, very important. The rest of it, you will be able to, if you don't understand law, you don't know how to write a brief, that's fine. You can find people that will be willing to help you if you just, my last word of advice, do not relent. Do
relentless.
Not
be relentless.
Relent.
Yes. Wow. Give that a round of applause. I found out that the actual meaning to the devil is the detail is God is in the details. That's the original saying. Before they changed it to devil's in the detail, it was God is in the details. That's what, because the God is the creator. So God is in the details.
I like that.
The devil is the imitator.
That's better. That's more positive.
Yeah, God is in the details. So I heard Wesley Muhammad broke it down and pointed out where it came from first, and then they changed it over. Wow. Dr. Wesley Muhammad, and he's a researcher beyond researchers. I know how he deals out. But my sister, I want to thank you so much for coming on and sharing that love. Please go to her website. Oh my goodness, beautiful website. She does consultations, all of that, one-on-one. She does one-on-one hour, one-on-one 30 minutes. She does one-on-one video consultations. Also, she does group sessions, also 2 to 4 people, especially if you know anybody in your family, children, aunties, cousins, everybody that's gone through darkism or colorism counseling. This sister can help you, and she can give you guidance on even when you're going through defamation madness, because she's won. She was consistent. She was relentless. She did what she had to do, and that's what. And I tell you, she born January 10th, so that 10 energy, I know how that works. It's about fighting. That 1 energy, we want to fight. George Foreman is born the same day. They want to fight. What's his name? Another boxer that just fought Mike Tyson at that exhibition. He born the same day. So you got a lot of energy. And like I said, even Dr. Khalid was born the 12th of January. So I know Capricorns, the best fighters in history has been under that Capricorn energy. Best historians and research like John Henry Clark, Dr. Ben, Moses Powell. Dr. Moses Powell was a Capricorn. Martin Luther King, he fought for whatever he had to fight. He was a fighter. They were fighting for their rights and all that kind of stuff. So I'm so proud of your journey, family, and I'm so proud of you and what you're doing. And please go to her website, Darkskin is beautifulcampaign.com. Support everything that she does. And please, thank you again, my sister, for coming on and showing love. Any last words for the beautiful people, the melanated people that are watching you? Any last words?
Yeah, I want to thank you for having me on here. I'm very humbled. I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. I want to thank everybody that took the time to watch. I appreciate every last one of y'all.
Thank you. And sister, and give those children a big old hug, man. I'm glad they're around you, and then you're doing what you got to do to make sure everything is well. All right.
Thank you.
Be safe. Peace and love. That's our girl. Make sure y'all show her love. Man, that was good. That was good. And you seeing tears come to my eyes because I can remember me being dogged out, by family members and friends because of this complexion, which comes from the original melanated humanoid of the origins of all life. And people don't realize that, we didn't understand what was going on, especially as a child. I didn't understand what was going on. I wasn't able to articulate it. So the next best thing was either get the hell out of here, take my life, get out of here. But I'm glad, like most people say, I'm glad I didn't do it, or I would just been a mantle on my mother's coffee table up to this day, because she does have pictures of, family and all that, but I would have just been a mantle. And you got to think about it. Look at this picture. And I want y'all to take a look at this picture. Look at that picture on the far right, me as a baby, how innocent I was. So for people to try to disrespect my complexion from a child, that's those smiles that you show up on. And those are smiles that went through a lot of endurance at a certain time of my life from that child picture. I went through a lot. That's why I had to design this flyer, because every time I look at this banner that I'm putting up here right now, it reminds me of the innocent of who I am and who I had to become over the years. And you see those Muslim hats around me, the New York hat that I have on, that's club life. That picture was taken in the clubs. But those the hats with the conscious, the headpieces that I had on, the crowns that I had on, those was Islamic, and then consciousness. And then now with the glasses, you can see I put the glasses on because my eyes have seen a lot throughout my life. That's why I put the glasses on. And that whole picture represents something. That picture that I put up here is representing something of my journey of life. That might even be my book cover. That picture might even be my book cover, the journey when the late bell rang. That might be a journey. I might add one more picture in between, but that picture is a reflection of the journey of King Simon and this fantastic voyage that I've been on for so many years, dealing with discomplexion in this realm at this dispensation of time. So believe me, family, you gotta always protect you. Love that flyer. Thank you very much, Darkism TV. She says she loved that. Oh, yeah, beautiful child. Thank you very much. Yes, I was a beautiful child. My mother came up, and my mother used to say, leave my little black boy alone. My mother used to, anytime they used to talk about her, whether it was my Aunt Marie, whether it was Aunt Gloria and Aunt G and all them, whatever they talk about, she always used to grab me and say, leave my black boy alone. So I thank my mother for really standing by me as a child and keeping that in mind. And my father, he was also a dark-skinned man, a brown-skinned man. I was the darkest out of everybody, of course. My uncle also was too, but may he rest in peace. And I can tell he went through a lot because he became abusive of people also, so but I didn't want to go down that road of being abusive of people like he did. I watched everybody, I studied everybody, and I didn't want to go down the drug road. I didn't want to do none of that. I stayed away. I'm thankful to the 5% Nation. I'm thankful to the Ansarullah community. I'm thankful to the Nation of Islam for all that they have showed me over the years to maintain a discipline of who I am and who I needed to become in my life, to the point that I'm studying. I dropped out of high school, took a GED, studying and reading more than I've ever read in my life when I left out of that GED program. And I even missed it the first time by 6. I failed the GED by 6 and had to take it again. So it's so important that we recognize that even if you're going through the light skin attack or the dark skin attack, or you want to be Indian today and you want to be black tomorrow and you want to be half white today, everything comes out of the black, comes out of the melanated energy of who and what we are. And everything is going to go right back to black. Everything is going right back to black. Because when you close your eyes, you go right back to the darkness and the shadow of your internal eyes. We go right back to the shadows. So it's all right. That's why today's topic was Darkism Matters. It's time to heal in the dark. And I pray that each and every one of you that are going through any type of colorism, contact our dear sister Rashida, if you can, by email or what have you, or by a website, and let her consult you. Consult your children. Have your children there. Because believe me, I was affected. I was affected, but infected by what was said to me as a child. That's what made me want to think I want to take my life. Like I said, I got the mark right here on right here. It's right here. It's just a little smaller, but I can see the black mark. It's not a pen mark. I know what that was. So every time I look at it, it reminds me of the journey that I've been on, that I almost took my life, and it almost took my life 3 times. And every time there was definitely intervals, not intervals, but it was definitely intervention every time. And I wrote it in my book, New Motivation for Mental Stability. And that's why I wrote that book, because 2 of my friends, I had enough of people, friends of mine, taking their life. And I said, you know what? Let me study this with the numbers and see how I can apply the numbers to keep people motivated, because it is a new motivational guide to keep you motivated by looking at the positive aspects of numbers and how to use them to benefit yourself. That's why I wrote this book, New Motivation for Mental Stability. That's why I wrote this book. Numbers are simple, people are complicated. I wrote that for a whole another reason. And of course, no promotion is bad promotion. I wrote that for my promotional life that I came out of. And then numbers are simple, children's health is important. I wrote that because I understand there's cycles, sequences, and patterns that can attract different ailments if you don't learn to navigate and do the right thing. All right. So family, on that note, gonna get ready to get on out of here, take a step to the rear and get the hell out of here. I want to thank each and every one of y'all for tuning in. Keep it locked, don't touch that dial. I will be back on Wednesday with this beautiful sister here. We have a new Wednesday show that's on every Wednesday, and that show is called Healing Vibes Show with myself and the one, the only Carrie Ann Ingram. So we have a good time. That's our link tree right there, Carrie Ann Ingram at Linktree. Carrie Ann Ingram, of course, King Simon, the New Motivator Linktree. So make sure y'all tune in for that show. Remember, I do have Dr. B series coming up next Sunday in the morning, in the afternoon, early afternoon. And then that evening, I got Kaba, Kamene, and Sister Kafunya coming in. And don't forget, they're doing something on the 21st at Nicholas, Brooklyn. And do remember my sister, the Yogi, the Laugh Yogi, and Entrepreneur and Laugista, the one, the only Melanin B will be in her and her eyes. Boy, her eyes is hypnotizing. So look out when she comes in. She's going to hypnotize you, because she has an event coming up in Atlanta, Georgia at November the 10th. Hopefully I'll be in town, because I'm going to be going back and forth between Florida also. And please, if you want to take my classes, my webinar is coming up October the 28th. I'm telling you, you will learn how to apply new motivation from a basic perspective, because in all reality, I want you to know how to do it for yourself. When you come to me, it's an emergency. But if you learn how to do at least the basics, learn how to guide yourself through new motivation, it can be very helpful, and it's happening. Go register now. Linktree/King Simon, the New Motivator. And on closing the month, I do remember before, on the 18th, on Wednesday, we're gonna be interviewing Queen Esther. I'm gonna be developing those flyers this week, and also on the 25th, we'll be interviewing the one, the only Selena Cadoba, the one, the only wife of Asir, the Duke of Tears, will be here live and direct. We're going to talk about her journey. And then to close out this month will be the one, the only Dr. Phil Valentine. Baba Philip Valentine will be in the building. Being a man and a woman is an experience, not a job description. And please support my supporters and my sponsors, like Carrie Ann Ingram and her website, carrieanningram.com, certified spiritual energy healer and guide. Make sure you book a session with her. And Lloyd Strayhorn, who's also one of my sponsors, Lloyd-Strayhorn.com, Lloyd-Strayhorn.com. Love my brother. He's one of my elders in this numerology stuff. So it is what it is. If you're in Brooklyn, check out Nicholas Brooklyn. If you're in Harlem or in Manhattan, go to Nicholas Cultural. Check them out. If you want to take a 15-day trip with Baba Ashraf Kwesi, taking you on a historical trip, not a metaphysical trip, historical trip, call him 214-371-0206. And if you want to get any of my books, go to Linktree/King Simon, the New Motivator. Go to Linktree again to take my 2-hour introductory course. If you want the full course meal, anybody that takes this class, this webinar, will get a $100 discount off of this one. So if you want to learn more and you're serious about going down that road to be a participant, not my student, you become a participant of what I do, because we're participating and sharing knowledge and wisdom with each other. just come on down. If you want to book a session, text me your full name and date of birth to 347-496-1022, 347-496-1022. And remember, accept what is, let go of what was, and have faith in what will be. And like Dr. B. Sirius says, I forgive myself, my family, and others for imperfection, and I am thankful for my life. And let's close out with Dr. Delbert Blair. Please, Universal Creator, know in my heart that I love you. Please protect me and this planet on which I live now. Please open my mind, my spirit, and my soul to receive only truth in your love now. The one, the only great Dr. Delbert Blair. We are so honored to have him here. And if you want to support Delbert Blair, please go to his website. If you want to support Delbert Blair, go to his website. That's themetacenter2.com. Got a lot of stuff on that website. Show him some love, and let Brother Tony know that King Simon sent you. On that note, forget my family, like I always like to close out, like from the great words of Marcus Mosiah Garvey, up you mighty nation, you could accomplish what you will. Great words of Dr. Khalid Muhammad, regardless of land, label, or language, there's but one God. We are all saints, saviors, soldiers, scholars, healers, and killers. And the words of the great Maya Angelou, and still we rise. Family, continue to rise to be the best. Continue to strive to be your best. Continue to love yourself and be the best. And don't hide from your greatness. Run to your greatness to be your best for everybody else around you. Take care, family. You have been watching King Simon Presents Only Quality People, and also the Numerovation Nation on YouTube. Remember, go to my Linktree /King Simon the Numerovator. Have a great day, afternoon, or evening. Content disclaimer. The views, comments, and opinions expressed by guest speakers or authors on this YouTube channel do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel's broadcasters and its sponsors. Parental guidance is advised. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teachers, scholarship, education, and research. For fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringed.
Did you ever wonder if your birth date holds information about your destiny? Why you keep seeing the same number or several numbers?
Welcome to Numbers Are Simple, People Are Complicated. I am your host, King Simon. Numbers are not here to control you, they're here to give you guidance. It's time for you to be able to read the numbers.
It's the Numerovational Session with King Simon. Text your full name and date of birth to 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022. And get my books on Amazon now. Hey, this is King Simon. Remember, make sure you go to my website, kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com. That's kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com, or Linktree at King Simon the Numerovator. Get all 4 of my books, and of course, that's the Numerovation for Mental Stability. Numbers are simple, people are complicated. Numbers are simple, children's health is important, and no promotion is bad promotion. Just spell my name right. Make sure you get them now on all my links. That's kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com. Go now.
In them that if it is sparked through numerology, astrology, motivation, whatever, it will raise them up from an 85%, maybe to a 10%, and eventually they become the 5%, the poor or prosperous righteous teachers. You gotta understand that this knowledge is not just for one class of people. We gotta get out of the class